Hey guys, this is Rishandra. So today we'll look at the last level of combining um, of coding using a combination of Python, Fast API, and MySQL. So I have created a e-commerce backend system. So as a backend system. So this is level 3, the last level of like combining Python, Fast SQL, Fast API, and MySQL, and using them in a code. So here you can see for the import functions we used Fast API, which handles API requests, validations, and responses. And SQL Alchemy handles the database communication and the um, database communication. And PWDLIB is for the passwords. And yeah, and then next is the database connection. So here you can see that I connected my SQL workbench here with the username and password. Uh, so mm, here you have to like here the username and password should go. And so these would be the same username and password that you used in in your MySQL workbench. And then here is the database engine, and then here you can see that it's e-commerce DB. So I created a new database for this. So here you can see uh, this MySQL command line client. So here you can see it's show databases, and then I created a database e-commerce DB, and then here you can see e-commerce DB database. Is in the databases list. So here I created the database e-commerce DB, and now it's in the databases list. So we have no problem using the e-commerce database. And then here you can see the database model. So the data this it's a user table that stores customer information. Then here you can see the table name is users, and then ID, and you can see it has ID, username, email, password, and orders. So this is the user base. So for the user base, it has ID, username, email, and password and orders. So you can see for ID we use integer, username strings, email we use string, password also we use string, and orders is just orders. Yeah. And for the product table, we used ID, name, price, and stock. And for the cart, we used ID, user ID, and items. And for the cart item table, we used ID, cart ID, product ID, quantity, and cart. And for the order table, we used ID, user ID, total, status, and user. And here you can see it. This one creates the tables automatically, and then so this is the pydantic schemas. So this you creates the schemas and all, and here it creates all of these, and then this is the security. So it's just for like the verification of the passwords and all, then the tokens and the fast API. So this one it's used in the So this app is recognized when we are running the code during execution. And then here for the registered user, you can see that it registers the user's data. It registers the user's data, and here you can see user create database session and see if the user exists. It returns email already exists, and then password, and then new user you can create using post. And then after the user is created, it returns the message as user registered successfully. And then the next is login user. So here, once the user is created, we can log in using the user ID and password that we created in this section, in the register section. And then here you can see it says user not found if the user is not there. And if the password is not correct, it returns incorrect password. And here, if the username and password is correct, it returns an access token. So if this returns an access token, then it's correct. And then here you can see for the add product, so this stores the inventory, and you can see we gave product name, price, and stock. And then you can add the new products that came here. And then here you can see get all the products. So all the new products that you added here, you can verify here in get all products. And then you can see add products to the cart and add products to the cart. Here you can see we add commit refresh, and it adds using the user ID of the product. And then here you can see it returns the message product added to the cart. And we had user cart ID, product ID, and quantity. And then for the check at the this is the checkout, and here you can see at the checkout if we enter if it's not in the cart, then it says cart is empty. And if the product stock is less than the item quantity, it says not enough for stock. And then here you can see it sums up the total price and all. And then it returns the message as order placed successfully. And then uh, after that, you can. So this is the code, and and let me show you the execution. So here you can see we executed. So this is the execution. You can see I wrote as Unicon space ecom. So ecom is the name of the file and app. So this app that we wrote here recognizes the app. So app here. So if there is an app in the file, then this one recognizes that and it runs the code. And then reload, and then you have to copy this HTTP link. And then after you can see now this is the final result of the code, and you can see you can post and then try it out. And then uh, for the username you can do Remy and email. It's Remy 123 at the rate gmail.com. And then for the password, you can type it as Remy123, then execute. So here you can see it says user registered successfully. and then after that it's post, and then you can get like the if you click try it out, and then email, and then is Remy123 at the rate gmail.com, and the password is Remy123. And then if you execute it, so here you can see that I told you before also that if you get an access token, that is correct. So here you can see that I got an access token. So the now this is correct. Then for products, you can go to add products. So try it out. And then for the product, you can get um like Nintendo uh, Switch, and then price you can do maybe like 400, and for stock you can do 10, and then execute. So here you can see that it says ID2 because I tested this before, so it will say ID number 2. And then here when you go uh, when you go to get, and then you try it out and then execute. So you can see that I added an item before that is bread and the price is 4. So its ID is 1 and stock 38. And then for name Nintendo, it's a second ID, it's Nintendo Switch, price 400, ID 2, stock 10. Now if you go to add cart, so here try it out. If you just have to enter the user ID. So user ID 1, and then product 1, and quantity 2, and then so it says product added to the cart successfully. And then after that, if you say user ID 2 and product 2 and quantity 1 and execute. So now the second user ID is also added to the cart successfully. And then for the post checkout, you try it out, and here then it user ID 2. So here you can say it says user order placed successfully, and total 400. And then when you click user ID 1, so here you can say I tested this before, so it will say 16 because I tested before and I added 2. So it will say total 16. And then when you go back to get, and then you execute again. So here you can see it the stock reduced from 34, stock registered to 34, and then this stock registered to 9. So so this is the full working e-commerce backend website. And then uh, yeah, so this is the result, and yeah, this is the result. And so this is the end of uh, coding using a combination of Python, Fast API, and MySQL. And tomorrow onwards, I think let's look at tomorrow. Yeah. And yeah, that's it for today. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Yeah. So bye.